live content accounts for almost a quarter of global viewing time. Live video generates 27% more minutes of watch time per viewing than on-demand video. Live streaming is a $70 billion industry. What does it all mean? Let's find out on the Why I Go Live podcast with Coach Kirk.
Welcome back to the Why I Go Live podcast. Man, we have had some phenomenal guests these past few weeks. I'm hoping you're still tracking with us. Man, did you know? I always start with a statistic. Audiences watched nearly 9 billion hours of live streaming content in the last quarter. That's crazy. And if we break that figure down a little further, it shows us that viewers spend over 3 billion with a B, billion hours watching content each month in this quarter. That's ridiculous. And why, might you ask, do people go live? Because of that. Because of those stats like that, and because of the exponential opportunity that is live streaming. Subtagline for this podcast is, could live streaming be the missing ingredient for your success? We're excited to bring to you stories of impact from real streamers who have taken the leap and they're experiencing the benefits of live streaming. And under that same theme, we're excited to welcome our guest, who is an educator, relationship coach, co-host of the John and April show. You might notice that from last week. And her name is April Nixon. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, man. We're going to kick things off real quick here just by sharing a little bit about who you are. What's your day job, if you will? And then, of course, what do you do in terms of content and live streaming?
Well, I taught elementary school, middle school for 20 years.
Wow.
And
but let's just clap it up for that, because
Yes.
that's like saying you're a veteran.
Exactly. I'm a
Honestly,
veteran.
you were on the battlefield.
Yes. But I really loved it.
Absolutely.
But I have moved in the last 6 months to HR for education. So
Okay.
I'm glad I'm still in education, but specifically HR.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy that a lot. I guess.
Good.
The podcast. Yes. So on our podcast, we just talk about, real things going on in relationships. And we really want to encourage people on our show to, talk to each other about different topics and be more communicative about that kind of thing.
Right.
And having no shame in marriage. That's something that we really emphasize. That's what we talk about.
That's a big concept.
Yes.
Big concept. No shame. That's
huge.
That might actually be a podcast by itself.
Exactly.
No shame.
No shame.
That's big. That's big.
We can talk a lot about that.
Yeah, real time. It literally affects every area of life.
Yes.
For those that don't know, April happened to be a guest on a different podcast that I get to co-host with Pastor Snell and David Person. And so we got a chance to chat a little bit about shame. I might actually put a little link to that in the show notes as well.
Yes, do that.
But you said you're an educator. What kind of educator? 20-something years on the battlefield.
Yes.
Were you in higher ed? Were you in elementary?
English language arts. I did.
Okay.
I did do higher ed for a semester.
Oh, wow.
But we ended up moving, and I ended up doing like 3rd, 4th grade,
Okay.
and then middle school, and now HR. So
man, you run the gambit.
Yeah.
You run the gambit across the board.
Yes.
Oh man, that is amazing. That is awesome.
Yes.
Lifelong educators. I love that. And this is one of the reasons why we do that part right here at the beginning of the show, is we want to kind of set the table, let people know that, this is not, you're not necessarily a full-time content creator, even though I think you probably should be. That's a whole nother story for another time.
That is, I would love that.
But I mean, you have a whole life outside of your live show, where you and John are able to kind of engage couples and talk about relationships, and again, unpack those conversations that we sometimes have a hard time, really articulating and really diving into. But they're necessary conversations. I love what you guys are doing out there.
Very necessary.
Yeah, I want to make sure our audience knows, what the Why I Go Live podcast audience knows, that people have their reason for which they create content, and of course for them, they have a passion and desire to work with couples. That is really dope. And I commend you for that.
We love it.
So listen, the title of the podcast is the Why I Go Live podcast. And so we're going to pose that question to you as well. So
Okay.
April Nixon, I almost want a drum roll. Why do you go live?
Okay, so when we started, we were editing a lot, hours and hours of editing.
Oh, wow.
And John was like, babe, we need to go live. He's watching people like you and, other people encouraging him. And I actually, did not want to do it.
Oh, wow.
John
Good.
was
This
like,
is a great
babe,
perspective.
yes, he was like, babe, we have to do this. And I mean, I knew that we could not sustain the editing night after night because it was literally staying up to 2:00 in the morning editing, plus getting up in the morning to go teach students. So that was a lot. And when he suggested that, I was like, no, because I'm a perfectionist and I need it to be right. I need it to be where I don't have to, hear my mess ups. You should have seen how many things I was editing out. I mean, I'm editing out my ums.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Oh, wow.
So it was
That's intense.
It was pretty bad for me to have to do that or feel like I had to do that because I was worried about being criticized, worried about messing up and people seeing it and maybe talking about it. Not that anybody cares, but at the time I thought that
was a
it
thing.
would matter.
Yeah.
And so, just went on and said, okay, let's do this. And that first episode live was like, I was nervous as what? And I was like, babe, I don't know about this. I was still doubting as we were pressing record, as we were pressing play or whatever.
Yeah.
And it actually ended up okay. Like I messed up, I remember not remembering what I was about to say. And then I was like, well, whatever. And then we laughed at it and went on. And then when I went back and looked, I was like, you know what? That really wasn't that bad. I made a mistake and I'm okay. I'm not, I'm not dead, I'm not embarrassed or anything. And so I think it just took it took us doing it, even with the fear. For me, especially, it took me just going on and just doing that thing, and also having the right people to talk to say, "Hey, this is how you should do it. This is what you should buy. This is how you should set everything up." Which is what John's the tech guy, so he knew who to call and he knew who to find out, what's the best equipment that we need to make it as easy as possible. So I do know what buttons to press. So I know all of that, but, setting it up and everything. So he was able to do that. So I just had to put away the fear, do it, mess up, see that it's okay. And after that happened, it was like, wow, this is great.
Wow.
Because as soon as it's over, it's done. You just post. You don't have to do anything else. So, and of course you have little things, but it wasn't nearly as long as recording, editing, and all of that.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
that's my perspective of going live and the benefits of going live.
Yeah, this is so good because I don't think we've had anybody on that has kind of touched on this part of the benefits. I often say to folks that going live is live video editing, meaning you're still putting everything on, in the editor.
Yeah,
We're just happening to do it live. You play your intro, you come on, all of those things are done live, but it's still kind of editing. Now, when you're done, you have this finished product that anybody can watch. I was
actually amazed. Like when it was over, I was like, oh my goodness. Like we just pressed the button. Like you said, the music was there instead of putting on the music, lining it up. And let me tell you what's crazy. When we were editing, I had to line up the voice because it was off. And so I really got excellent at lining the mouth and I built those skills, but it was so tedious to have to line that up. And so to be done and the mouth goes with the voice.
Oh, that's good.
The music is on,
Everything
it's
is in its
you're
place,
right. You're editing. That's so true. I never thought about that. You're editing live. Really.
You're editing live.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah,
that's
everyone.
A major component.
I feel like that is the key, to be able to keep it going. Because if you have another job, if you have other things and you're not doing that full time, you have to give yourself that space to be able to do that.
That time component is huge.
Yes, very huge. Yeah.
That in and of itself. I work with a CEO, and he's getting ready to transition out. He's actually picked a successor. He's training him. He's getting ready to retire and wants to kind of go into public speaking and doing some other things. And so he's like working with me to now kind of create this platform. But he's
That's
still
awesome.
working,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he wants to, start looking towards what am I going to do when I finally walk off the stage.
Exactly.
And he doesn't have a whole lot of time. And
most of us don't.
and most of us don't, right? And you keep talking about being a teacher.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a whole lot of time. So I said to his assistant and some of his team, I was like, how much can we get on his calendar? They were like, we can probably do an hour a month. I was like, from an hour in a month, we can put together 92 pieces of content.
Wow.
They were like, no way.
Wow.
I said, how are you going to do it? I said, we just got to go live.
Yeah.
So it's the ultimate cheat code. I just love the way you shared that. I could not have said it any better. That's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Man. If you are looking for how to show up in these internet streets with credibility, sometimes while you're live, you may say something, and even only after you're watching it back will you realize, like, that's shirtable. Like, that's a quote. I need to put that on a quote meme and post that somewhere. So much content you could get while live. So that is dope. Now, we're not going to let you go so quick, April. Now, hold on. We still have at least one more question for you.
Okay.
But that answer, I just wanted to double click. Somebody needs to hear, this is a time saver. This is like the ultimate hack to be able to go live and have it be done. It's done. And,
it's done.
Whether or not you have 2 people watching or 5,000 watching, it stays up there and it can build momentum. This is, man, live streaming. Oh my goodness. Man, this is a whole aspect that I have not talked about in a while. So I'm like, the gears are turning in my head.
Good.
Okay. So, but here's a question, because you guys are doing the relationship space. Talk to us about, some of maybe give us an example of something that has happened. I got to remove the term craziest, but something that has happened as a direct result from live streaming that was kind of like, it was like an unexpected benefit, but you can directly tie to live streaming. You're just kind of like, this can actually lead to this. And a lot of people don't make those connections. And I love this secondary question that we get a chance to ask guests. What do you got for us?
Well, we actually got connected with Dominique Dawes's PR person. And it was crazy because it was like through, like you said, after the live, you get messages, people send you different things and DMs, and you respond. And we got connected with her, and she connected us with Plant Burger, and Plant Burger, the owner or the creator of Plant Burger was on our show. And it was crazy because we asked if he could come on with his wife, because we're a relationship podcast. And so we wanted to talk about, what he's doing, but also the relationship and how that works together. And she was a model and an amazing businesswoman. We had no idea she was just as, awesome to interview. Like, we didn't know we were getting 2 in 1, That's
so good.
So so that was just a great connection, because then after that, Plant Burger reached out and asked if we could do some little advertisements for them on Instagram. So if you go on our IG page, you will see that we have some things with Plant Burger, and we've had we just have a connection with them now, where we DM each other. They're like, hey, how are you guys doing?
Wow.
We got this new thing. We would love for you to do this for us, or whatever. So that connected us. And now we're actually still in connection with her. And she hooked us up with a lady who does this vegan thing for women.
Oh, wow.
And her program is like a year being vegan and trying to make women healthy. And so she's all about women's health. So we had her on our show. And it's just like, it was from the live. All of that, got us connected. And so that was actually amazing that we were able to connect. We were actually supposed to have Dominique Dawes on the show, but her schedule was insane and could not link up. But she's like, I want to stay in contact with you guys. I want to work with you guys. So we still have that there to be able to try to, get something going. But the point is, that wouldn't have happened if we weren't, doing our live. That would not have taken place. And, I just feel like it's such a powerful tool to be able, and I think when people see the authenticity
That's
of
it.
live,
That's it.
you're not having to do, like I said, what I was doing before, cut out all
Edit. Yeah.
the real things that happen.
which people resonate with, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
That's so
And
crazy.
so I think it has been beneficial, and that was a huge part for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody who's listening, somebody is paying attention right now. You're kind of cluing in on some things like, oh, okay, hold up, 1 + 1 is starting to equal 2. So these are some of the kinds of things that can happen. We're not going to say it will happen,
Right.
but we hope that if you decide to take the plunge, crazier things than these happen for you when you decide to go live. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. Wow. The Why I Go Live podcast. I just really hope that you guys are catching in on this thing. One of the things I want to share with you guys as we get ready to close this thing out is, unlike Netflix and, Hollywood and Amazon Prime and these media houses that produce TV series and movies that we watch, people are not looking for that when they come to social content. They are looking for what April just said, authenticity. They want to see something that resembles a conversation that they had with their spouse this morning, or with their sister at the coffee shop, or with their boys on the basketball court. That's what they want to resemble. They want that kind of experience, and it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be live. Every day you wake up and walk out of your house, you're live. You just don't have a camera in front of you. And that is what people are looking for. Seinfeld has done a whole show on just random nonsense because that's what people are. That's the way people live. It kind of shines a floodlight on that concept of that experiential content where you're talking with one another, you're having these deep-seated conversations. And then in the next moment you're laughing, right? Because that's how live is.
Exactly. And can I just say that when me and my husband are live, it's crazy. He will say something that I didn't even know he felt, or I didn't know he was dealing with, or whatever. And I'll be like, really?
What?
Like, because we don't,
It's genuine,
because it is live,
right?
We're not writing down what we're going to say.
Yeah.
Here's the topic, here's some points, whatever comes out. And so afterwards, it's like, we'll even talk afterwards and keep it going and be like, babe, I didn't know you felt that way.
Wow.
So, and I think it resonates with the audience. We call them chimes.
Chimes.
They chime in. We want them to chime in the conversation. And the chimes are like, whoa, I love how you guys were able to show us, who you really are and how your relationship works and the things that to be able to see it happen right there on the show, the way that it would if we were alone.
Yeah.
I think is impactful. And I actually feel more comfortable now because we've done it so many times. Now live is great. Like I don't want to do it any other way now. So now John would have to convince me to go back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I agree with you on that one.
That is good. I listen. If I say anything else, I'm gonna mess it up. That's what you need to. We're gonna land with that, y'all. Like live. There's a different component that happens there, and when you can tap into that authenticity, when you can allow people in, and they see a part of themselves in you, that's when true engagement happens. That's when you start to see the exponential growth, because people don't resonate with what's made up. They may resonate with what's real. Right? There's there's a pile of clothes right on the floor next to me right here. That's you can't see it, but it's there. Because that's what's real. Because that's what's real. My house looks kind of like your house, and your house looks kind of like my house. That's what's real. But man, April, I can't thank you enough for coming through and hanging out with us. Anything that you guys got going on, or something that you're going to be doing in the new year that is, that'll help to launch people, or maybe, I don't know, boot camps, stuff like that. I know you guys have a bunch of things.
We really want to have a live John and April time together where people can actually come to us.
Oh,
and
nice.
We can actually have a get together. But we want it to be a certain way, and we're trying to make the time and to plan it, but it has been actually on the table for months now. So we do have some people in place who are helping us out with it, but we really want to have a live event. That's what I want to say. A live event where we can come together.
Yeah.
And it just, something that we really want it to be an awesome experience, so that when you leave, your relationship will never be the same. So that's what we've been working on. But again, we go back to time being the issue with the planning and life and how things happen, but that is what we have on the table right now.
Nice.
So we hope to get that going soon.
Where can people find, follow, support?
Just John and April.
On everything.
Just John and April on everything. And
Got it.
Just John and April, www.justjohnapril.com, our website. And yeah, so.
Well, listen, those things are going to be in the show notes for you guys as well.
Thank you.
I just want to say a word of thanks to all of you guys who are listening right now for your time and attention. We take none of it for granted. Truly, this is a space where we come aside to just kind of hear these stories. You just never can tell. And now we're hearing from an educator and relationship coach what live streaming has done for her, and that could possibly be your story too. So I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you. If you're not watching the video, you can't see them looking directly in the camera, but if you're listening, just stop what you're doing right now. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to think about it. What would live streaming look like? What would those steps look like for you? And I want to let you know that here at How It All Works and our business composition, we have a ton of resources just for the DIY streamer, for you to be able to take it from zero to hero, or to go from where you are to the next level. Because let me tell you this, your live stream is your digital storefront. There's no better way to go from busy and broke to peaceful and paid than for your ideal customer to see you do it live. When you do it live, they don't need the taste test. They don't need to be sold to. They don't need the ad campaign. They know you can do it because you did it live. It's your boy, Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher. Thankful for your time and attention. And we will see you around these internet streets or in the next podcast episode.
Why I Go Live, hosted by Coach Kirk, is a composition production. Real streamers, honest stories, and incredible impact. Add your voice to the conversation. Go to kirkrnugent.live/member to join the community. And let's figure out how it all works.